What is the role of religion in our ever-changing world? From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Issues of Faith.
Welcome everyone to Issues of Faith. We're talking about religion in the military. And we have with us JC Shegog. He is a former military. He traveled with the Department of Defense, training NATO allies. And you've seen the role faith plays, not only, I guess, in our Army, as someone who's former military, but in other forces around the world.
Correct.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks
for talking about this. What role do you think religion plays, I guess, in our military when you're talking about morale? How important is religion in today's military?
Religion is as important as the individual soldier, because what you have is each soldier has their own embrace. So the military tries to make that embrace more bearable for them, because it is a trying time. And you have to lean on all that you have to get through these things. And religion plays a huge part in that.
And there's a debate. I mean, I've seen some say, well, we're a Christian nation. It should be about Christianity. But the Army, the U.S. military recognizes 221 religions. And they're all kinds.
That's right.
So not just Christianity.
Correct.
What do you think, and they just recently raised it. It used to be 100, now it's 221. So it keeps going up. What do you think about that? That the Army is so diverse, embracing of so many different religions?
You want your Army to be able to reflect your citizenry. So with having these various citizens, you want the Army to reflect that. And if you want people to join it, because it's not a draft, they're not required like some countries require at least 2 years service. Well, since our country don't require that, it's a voluntary motion. So with that voluntary motion, you want as many as you can get, because from out of that, you may get the next, genius that's going to cure cancer or go to somewhere else other than the moon.
And as someone who was in the military, serving amidst all those different kinds of religions, how does that work? How focused did you feel like people were on that? So and so believes this, I believe that, so and so believes something completely different.
Right.
How did that all mesh?
It meshed with the mission. We have a motto, mission first. So with the mission is first, we concentrate on the mission. Now, it's paramount to be respectful of other people's belief in order to have a cohesive nature and environment. So you look at mission first, people being respectful, soldiers being respectful, Marines, airmen, seamen being respectful of each other's personal belief, and not wearing it on your sleeve, because your personal belief is your personal belief. It's not for you to try to convert people. It's for you to feel comfortable about what you're doing and who you are. And once they do that, everything works. It works fine.
I've seen it argued in some publications, we're a Christian nation, and our military should reflect that. And to recognize 221 religions, some of those publications have concerns with that. When you hear that, what do you think?
That's a very old and outdated mentality. The country has grown. It has grown past just serving one particular group or section of people. And if this country is going to continue to grow, we have to look at what's making it grow. And that's the people that's within the country. It's making it grow. And without dealing with those people, without recognizing them, without respecting their beliefs, we can't grow. We can't be better to become the best.
Did you find tension? Did you find tension between Muslims and Christians?
Certain areas, definitely. And it was a consistent tension, because that would always be the forefront issue. You know, I don't like him because he's Muslim, or I don't like him because he's Christian. And that tension, it can be infectious, you know, because pretty soon you can get other people to believe, and next thing you know, they all are very confrontational. The mission is blown. So it's up to our leaders to say, hey, you know, we're all here flying the same flag. So with that, let's unite on that. Because what I do in my prayer closet, and what you do in your mosque, or what you do in your temple, that's your business.
How you've traveled, you know, training our NATO allies. And so what did you see in other countries? Mm-hmm. How are they, how are their militaries reflecting religious beliefs?
A lot of them, they have, the majority is one particular religion, and the minority is smaller religions or branches of that religion. So they tend to cater to the majority, and the minorities kind of, they keep quiet. You know, they keep quiet, they go along to get along. And then some of the places where it's all the same religion, it's a lot of times the haves and the have-nots. You know, the haves, they get more attention. You know, they get the good jobs. The have-nots, they get the messed up duty, you know.
Yeah.
And so it revolves around that until a life is at stake. Somebody saved their life. Then that person, he gets promoted or exalted, and then the next thing you know, he makes a doorway for the other guys to say, hey, you know, we're all like that. You know, we're all courageous people. You know, let's kind of get together and do this together. So I've seen those doors break open from that.
You've seen doors break open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that means what I'm hearing in other countries, there aren't necessarily 221 religions that would be recognized. It's the most popular, and then the others are kind of in the background.
Right, they're tolerated.
So we're doing it a little differently.
Yes, sir.
And you think that's the right way to go?
I think it is. I mean, if we have as many people as we have, then we have as many religions as we have, and we want to stay number one. You know, people like me, you know, we get old, and you need some new blood. You know, you need some new people come in, and the newer groups don't necessarily, the newer generations don't necessarily believe like the older generations. So we got to keep up with those times, and we got to keep up with the changes and the evolution of religion, because people are evolving. You know, the way that some Christians believe 30, 40, 50 years ago, a lot of them don't believe that same way anymore. So we have to keep up with these things in order to serve the populace that we want to bring in order to serve the country that we live in.
So you do a podcast here locally, and I want to take a break, and then we'll come back, and I want to talk more about your podcast, what it is you're talking about on that podcast, and all of that. Yes. So why don't we take a break? We'll come back, continue our discussion, and be back right after this.